Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma practitioners, our life is like a river, always on the flow, and it gets nourished from the environment, and it always depending from the inflow. And it another way, our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, this life itself like a river influx from the perception. And that perception we perceive mostly corrupted and intoxicated by the greed, hatred, and the desires. So then you have to develop a kind of like a filtering mind. Why? Because we also from the samsara already to develop the same nature with the greed, hatred, and the delusion, with the self-centered mind looking for the self-satisfaction. And because of that, whatever the perception we perceive and has the same nature, and the river become more stronger. That's why we cannot find. We don't know where this is going to end. This is like a flood. Our life itself like a very dangerous flood keep happening, and no one can guarantee what will happen next. But still, there is something deeper you can develop, cultivate. In that cultivation, in that development, you can slowly reduce the strength of the flood or the inflow or the current of the river, and you can slowly, little by little, reduce the strength, the power, the energy, and slowly you can come to an end. But you have to have the awareness, and you have to have the effort to develop that inside you. Because mostly we are more comfortable in this society with this perception, and it's kind of like a grinding wheel. We are more comfortable when we grind inside, and we feel so living when we grinding in this wheel. And that's why again and again we like to jump into that. But when you look very carefully, whatever we experience moment by moment, and itself it disappears. Itself it doesn't have any kind of deeper, solid satisfaction. Itself it doesn't have itself self-identity. But on the surface level, with this perception, only by in our mind, we develop that identity. Only in your mind, you develop the satisfaction. Only in your mind, you develop self-centered idea. Only in your mind you develop kind of like a permanent feelings. Get out of this is not easy. But only the solution for this, being aware. Why? Because that awareness will show you that what we experience is itself just a moment of happening. But we had a history related to the memory, which we call the sanskara. So that sanskara, or the mental formations, and develop a pattern inside us already. And that pattern we call taints or the cankers. So that cankers create the river. That cankers, taints, bring the invitation to this outside perception, and whatever we perceive, we put a condition on it. So that condition itself, we take as our life. That condition we bring with the identity. That condition we put in our mind, we bring as joy or the satisfaction. So then, how we can understand this? Going with the same perception and thinking by ourselves, we cannot get out of it. Why? Because your thoughts already corrupted. Your thoughts already in rush. Your thoughts already get influenced by the past experience which we perceived with the intention that create inside us related to the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So using your past, you cannot get out of this current. It's kind of like you try to investigate a corrupted person using another corrupted person. You will never get out of the system. You will never find any secret out of it. So then, where we start? In the very beginning, you have to understand what we experience as life. So that is where we go. That's why we practice meditation. Because mostly people think, though, the meditation, closing our eyes and crossing our legs and holding this posture is meditation. Or maybe thinking something again and again is meditation. So when it comes to the tranquility meditation and vipassana meditation, and then according to the Buddha's teaching, it is the cultivation of your awareness, not the thoughts. So the awareness is the moment of recognition. So the moment of recognition happening when you release the mind from the thoughts. The recognition and the thoughts so different things. So that's why today we practice. When you think about the feelings, always that moment depend on your past experience. But when you detach your mind from the thoughts, and when you observe the feelings happening right now, right here, you will recognize that recognition is not thoughts. It is a kind of like a direct perception. You come to the moment of understanding. So that is what you need to develop. When you develop this inside you, what you can experience. So in this very moment, as you sitting here in front of the phone or the computer and you listening to this. And you think this is something coming from outside to inside you. So that's why the stains, the influxes, cankers is kind of like a river, because it river, the water always, the small streams, they nourish the main stream. And always it keep happening. That's where the river becomes stronger. So the meaning of your life or the living always bring the perception. And when it comes to you, when it comes to the main river with your mind, with your past experience, and it creates something inside you, that creation itself bring your self or the I am. So how this happen? So we have to little bit slowly understand this. And the Buddha mentioned, to get out of this, there are many methods. One is sensual control. And another one is avoiding, staying away. And another one is wisely use of the necessities of life. So this is very important. Wisely use of the necessities of the life. Wisely use necessities. See, that doesn't mean you stay away from life. You use the life, but wisely. And the necessities. So before going to the wise, in a very conventional level, if you recognize necessities, what you need, that understanding itself uplift the quality of the wisdom. When you come to the point to understand according to the moment, to get exactly what you want, what is most profitable for the moment, and that become that skill, that profitable skill itself make you wise. And that's why it say the wisdom is kind of like this. It is okay to get angry. How? For the right reason, for the right time, with the right things or the right people. In a right way, if you able to get angry, it is good. So like that, rather than staying away from life, if you able to recognize what is necessity, what is most important thing for you in this very moment right now, that recognition, when it comes to exactly to the right point, it will fulfill your wisdom. But the thing is, as I mentioned, that corrupted, intoxicated, the flood already happened inside us. Invite the same kind of nature. So then in the very first level, you have to be very careful with your senses. Why you have to be careful with the senses? This is why. So what you see, listen this very carefully and catch it yourself. So what you see and what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you feel. So forget about the mind. This all basically, conventionally we can see. This all the material things. When it comes to you, what happens, and according to the moment, or according to the condition in your mind in that very moment, even though you think it, you experience something from outside, there's nothing go inside you from outside. The completely the chemical reaction happen inside you. That chemical reaction bring the recognition to yourself. And it has power to mix everything together because of our intention and the desire. Keep it collected. It's like glue. So just imagine now you watching and listening. So your picture come to you through the screen and to your eye, and you think this picture is speaking to you. No, if you're watching this through the computer or the cell phone, your speaker is somewhere else. Your screen doesn't have the speaker. So the speaker somewhere else. And now you're watching and listening. So what happening, your picture and the sound come two different ways. It's totally different. It's totally different mechanism. The speaker and the screen, completely two different mechanisms. But look, when it comes through different ways, and your eye has the same kind of different mechanism, only conditioned to the pictures. And your ear has only mechanism limited to the sound. And these two things come together, and inside you, it come together and connect and bring a picture. That picture is not that what is really happening outside. That picture that you gain happen, and according to the condition of your inside. And that is why that whatever the picture that you see, no one else can see it. It is totally different. The sound you gain, only you can experience that sound. No one else can hear that sound. And even the smell. And when you have the smell, that smell creates a certain kind of chemical inside you, and then according to that reaction inside your body behavior, you experience, your brain recognize, your heart recognize, your mind recognize that smell. So then what happened? When it keep happening again and again and again and again, your body conditioned to certain method or the certain pattern. And that keep happening in you, that is what called the memory. So then what happened in the very next time, when you come to in front of the the computer, and your mind already create a path to be comfortable. As example, tomorrow, if you're ready to come to this session, when you come to this session and you sit in front of the computer and you open it, and then already in your mind, there is a current key flow with the intention. This is the very with the intention to see what you experience today. That current is the self. That current is the I am. So in case when you open the computer tomorrow, if the screen doesn't show this or the sound doesn't come properly, then what happens? You feel disappointed. So what is that disappointment mean? That disappointment mean that the habitual pattern look for something, but the moment of experience is different. And if you are able to understand this mechanism, just apply it to your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. The whole ways that things happening. And in our mind, we collect that everything together and experience something inside. But outside, it happening something else. If you take it to the larger picture, this situation, you go to a movie theater. And then you're watching this huge screen. And two people may be talking. So you look at the picture. And then you look at the picture and then you think that person talking. That person doesn't talk there. The soundtrack happened maybe somewhere else. Even only the scene they record, they tape it there. And the soundtrack, they sound voice over it somewhere else in another studio. Now what happened? Through the machines, they put the sound and the picture in the same timeline. So now you're watching and the sound come from different side. Sound doesn't come from the screen. Sound come from the speakers. So while you hearing, in your mind, you experience this person talking. So from where that experience come? Because your mind has a power, memory to bring this everything and put together. That is the nature of the cankers. It has power to collect this, all the perception put together. And even if you go to the real life sometimes, like as example, animations. Nowadays, there's a lot of people addicted to animations. And so if we look very carefully, the animations, the cartoons in the like in the beginning of the cartoon, like 80s, in the end of the 70s, when they show the cartoons, what they did in the beginning, they make a frame by frame. That frame is solid. It's just a picture, solid picture. So what they does, they make a frame by frame. And then just as example, one person running. So then they put, okay, one leg like this, one picture, they draw. Another leg like this, then they draw another picture. Then again, another picture like this, draw another. So like that, they draw frame by frame. So then what they does, and they, according to the timeline, they start to roll all the pictures together as a collective activity. And then when you watch it, you feel like somebody running, but there's nobody running there. So whatever you look, the animations, it's all the solid dots there, but you feel like something happening. So that something happening, you recognize what is happening according to what is happening inside you. So what is happening inside you according to the behavior and according to the memory or the habit that you already develop in you. So that habit itself has a current to go with the perception. And it is the river, that river inviting more and more and more perception. So that's why you close your eyes and you get out of all the sound and you just completely give your attention to the sensation. In that very moment, what's happening, you avoiding that all the perception, and it come to a point to you become very disciplined with the senses, and that will empower your recognition. So that recognition that happening inside you is the power of your own mind. That is very necessary for you to develop in you to understand the very reality of the life. Because the reality itself, that what you recognize inside you and what is happening outside, the same. But if you have the recognition related to the past memory, and then that whatever the currents or the recognition happening according to as the invitation of that memory, you will not going to recognize this. So that's why the meditation bringing an empty space in between your memory and the perception. In that empty space, you able to recognize the moment of feelings. So if you able to see that you will see always that whatever you experience as feelings, it's moment by moment change. It is formless. Why I call it formless? Because otherwise, if you don't recognize that, that's why you put the identity on it. And it is selfless, but you put the identity on it. As example, shoulder pain, leg pain, knee pain. See that if you come to a point to recognize formless, you not going to put the identity on it. Even though conventionally we recognize this that way, when it comes to the very name, very essence of the pain, it is formless. When you able to understand that in the bottom level of it, in the surface level, you're not going to hold it to or clinging to that. So that's why this direct perception or the sati sampajanya or the clear comprehension, developing that is very necessary for you to understand it. So otherwise we always caught up in this. And the memory create inside us and the influence our experience, our feelings, and we bound to it. And again and again, again and again, we keep feeding to it and we go with it. Just imagine when the whole world run with the same kind of patterns and the memory, and it is very difficult to get out of it. So that is where we are. We are this society, the culture, tradition, organizations, community. We caught up in the current, grinding wheel, and we keep going with the same ideas, and we ourselves keep grinding our feelings on it. So then, if you want to really look for the freedom, if you want to really get out of this, you have to take a conscious decision and look into what you feel without your past experience. And if you're able to come to that point, you will see in that very moment that whatever happens, it doesn't have any kind of identity. It is just a moment of experience. But once you're able to bring the thoughts to examine it, investigate it, you're bringing the thoughts with the related to your past experience. That is the cankers. That past experience itself always increase the strength of your flow, the current or the samsara. So then day by day, when you practice yourself, remember, little by little, have the effort to see your own feelings without thoughts. There is a way that you can do that. Only thing is you have to have the effort. And when in a certain moment you will see this current happening inside you, and always invite this inflow, the perception to be the same like you, be the same like you. You develop the format inside your experience. You collecting the outside sources, so the perception you develop inside, you make something inside you. You make something inside you. No, let that perception to be there like that. Whatever you experience, drop it there. What you see, drop with your eyes. What you hear, drop in your ears. What you smell, drop in your nose. What you taste, drop it in your tongue. Don't allow that everything to go inside and mix and bring something. And that what you bring is yourself. So it is deeply you have to observe, and little by little you have to experience it yourself. And I hope when you practice yourself, you will give your best. Because without giving your best, without being honest to yourself, without really taking responsibility within your own practice, you will never get into this experience. So that is where you develop the confidence regarding your own practice. That is where you develop the trust regarding your own practice. That is what you need, not the result. Don't look for the result. Look for how you develop the confidence, where you put your trust. Look for that. And when you able to fulfill that all, remember, your liberation, your transformation, your ultimate bliss of Nibbana be in front of you. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi dikayuko bhava. Ittavata cha annihi sampadam punya sampadam. Sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta. Anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu. Sabba sampatti siddhya idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vangotu. Sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.